When I finished my last career as Schalke back in 2021, we left them in a pretty good position. We saved them from relegation, finishing 9th in the Bundesliga, but this time, we've already had to rescue them from the 2nd division. We've now completed that task and it's time to see if we can beat that 9th place finish. The squad needs rebuilding, but I think we've got a shot at it. It's time to return to the big time. Let's fix the Royal Blues in the Bundesliga. Welcome back to Germany, and I guess welcome back to the Bundesliga too. We're back at the top level for the first time in 3 years, but our work isn't done. We want to go further. We want to get back to Europe at a minimum. And that is going to be tough because we're going into this season with a 70 overall team, a whole 3 overall worse than the next worst team, and also 8 overall behind the league average. While we can't compete with Bayern or Leverkusen or Dortmund for signings, we can still improve a lot, and that's what the majority of this first episode of Season 2 is going to be about. Just like in Season 1, we're going to play 4 or 5 matches per episode, covering about 2 months in each one. And today we're going to be doing July and August of 2026. Of course, that means that the transfer window is open and we have a lot of improvements still to make. The first area we want to strengthen is goalkeeper. Enquiries was dodgy as hell last year and Podlec is nowhere near good enough. Thankfully though, we found a bunch of options. Biljo is probably the best keeper of these 5, but he's also injury prone, so I think we have to avoid him. Kaminski and Gerbic are the cheap options, and Leno and Unnestal are more expensive. I do like that Leno is actually the backup at Fulham to Verbruggen, so we're going to pick him up, at least maybe. We tried giving Karius as a backup replacement to replace Leno at Fulham, but our offer was actually just left in the balance. While we're waiting on Fulham to decide if we're allowed their backup goalkeeper, let's move on to the next position. Our current striker options are Karaman, Højlund and Engels. That's barely good enough for the 2nd division. So a big striker has to come in, and I say big deliberately because all of our options here are actually massive. I really like the look and the value of Erik Botheim. He's quick enough, he's tall, he can play as a poacher and available for under £4 million. Overall, I think that's a really good deal, even if he is actually only the 43rd highest rated striker in the Bundesliga for the coming season. Next, we needed at least 1 centre mid, probably 2, and for a long time I was thinking Mark Rocker was the answer, but then I saw this guy, Albert Sambi Lokonga, an Arsenal flop who had been released into the free agents. He was so good in the negotiations that he even told us the exact wage that he wanted, and now we have a new top rated player. The last transfer work we absolutely had to do was find a new shadow striker. Yunus's contract had ended on the 1st day of July, so we had a gap to fill. Karaman could probably do it short term, but he'll start declining very soon. Yusuf Yaziki is probably the answer. He's younger, he's bigger, he's got a good pedigree, and even if Olympiacos negotiated a whole £50,000 more to our initial bid, I think he's also a bargain for under £4 million. In fact, I'd say that all 3 of our signings so far are total bargains. We've improved our squad massively for under 10 million. All we had to do now is wait on Bernd Leno and Fulham to see if we could pick up maybe another centre back or another centre midfielder from the transfer list. We did get a reply eventually, and 6.1 million for Leno might seem steep right now, but I think he'll stop at least 10 goals more than Karius would. Let's hope that that is enough difference for us to stay up. The £40,000 a week wage does hurt, that's twice the next highest paid player in our squad, but I think we are absolutely paying for his quality. The Bernd Leno deal finished on the same day as our first friendly, so of course we had to see how this team played on the pitch. Southampton are in a similar position to us, they've just been promoted and are looking to survive, as well as being probably the worst team in their division, so it was actually a really even test. Although, really, it was probably a good test of how good Leno was at picking the ball out of his own net. To say he had a pretty poor debut would be an understatement. Goal after goal would go in, and even though we did get a late comeback, we did succumb to a 5-3 defeat. I don't think anything could really get any worse for us right now. How about Manchester United bidding for our young centre-back, Jorn Hoffmann? Now, I wanted to keep him, but I just don't think it would be realistic to keep him. Even though it's a really low fee for his predicted potential, we should probably accept it. It actually hurt watching him leave the club. He was a future captain, but we really did need to improve all of our defence as the Southampton game had proved. Hoffmann wasn't ready, and we had a few ideas on how to replace him. Big Willy Orban was the first idea, but sadly, we couldn't loan him in because his contract was too short. Instead, we agreed to bring in Victor Lindelof temporarily, giving us 2 centre-backs with under 50 pace in a high line tactic. Hopefully it works. On the other side of defence, where we used to play Bullet when we were in the second division, we're now going to be rotating him with Akpaguma, who has at least got a little bit of pace. We had about 2 weeks to let these noob signings settle into the club, and in that time we also used them to reveal our new kit. I think it looks nice, but if you'd like to help me make Season 3's kit, then just shoot me a message. Anyway, our first game was against Stuttgart, a pretty good team who are usually in the top half of the Bundesliga. I don't think this year will be much different for them, and hopefully we can join them somewhere around mid-table. It's a really nice comparison for us early in the season. Although, if things don't go our way, it could also turn out to be quite a scary season coming up ahead of us. Love to see the new kit on show, new players, new transfer budget, hopefully a new season with some new success for Schalke is on the way. Kaputska gets it into Yaziki, long shot. If he'd have found the corner there, who'd been a hero after just 8 minutes. We were good on corners last year. That's Katic, that's a near post header. We scored a few of them, and it's taken just 8 minutes on our return to go ahead against Stuttgart. What a leap that is. Straight in at the near post, nothing the keeper can do. Salihovic turns us, gives it to Sturgio, and that's Nick Waldemida, the big German striker. Heads it straight past our goalkeeper. To be fair, I think Leno probably could have done better, but it was a really nice header. Demirovic into the box. Katic just gets a foot on it. I think that was getting pulled back to Waldemida again. Demirovic tries to get it to middle stat, but that's going to be half-time. 1-1, we will take this. We are probably not matching them for quality, but we are putting a lot of effort in. Demirovic, Katic, defending with Lindelof. I don't like that combination really. Salihovic, he's been running the game in midfield. Keitel up to Demirovic, and it's a good catch from Leno. Triple sub then. We're going for this win. Karaman, Bullet and Berg all coming on. A lot more pace on the pitch right now. Hopefully we can maybe get a counter-attack. Waldemida into the box and into the top corner. Out of absolutely nowhere. One pass, our defence is left wide open, and it's a second goal. Waldemida, he could make it the hat-trick, but it was great goalkeeping from Leno, and Kadu can't score in the open net. Just a few seconds left. We're trying everything to attack, but that was so calm from their defender. Salihovic intercepted by Akpaguma, but that's a loss on day 1 of the season. Hopefully not a sign of things to come. Although we did actually limit them to not many chances, they were just so lethal in front of goal. So while Stuttgart are one of the better teams in the league, we can't really say the same about Holstein Kiel. We know all about them from last season. If you watched season 1, you know about them too. I think they smashed us at least once in the season, so hopefully that doesn't happen again, because if it does, we're pretty much already condemned to relegation. Katic using his pace, he doesn't really have much, but gets it out to Lindelof. Christiansen, good ball into Yaziki. Oh, and he's played it through into Bothheim. And that is a top corner finish. That is like watching us last season. What a finish. Good bit of one-touch play to get it through to the striker. And it's always nice to see a player score a first goal of the season. Hopefully the first of many. I'm not expecting another 20-goal season from our striker though. That is for sure. Sambi Lukanga into midfield. Kaputska, one-touch play again. And we tried to finesse it with Yaziki. I always get so nervous. Free kicks from this range, and oh, I thought that was going top corner for a second, and it looks like so did the fans of Holstein Kiel. They've chested it round us. Can Akpaguma get out there? He can. Good defending, and the second time, and we'll clear it. Really good. Sabinski into Fetty up, but that's a great tackle from Katic. That's half time, and I've been actually quite impressed with our defence so far. All of our defenders playing well. Lindelof's been covering, Katic winning a lot of tackles, and Akpaguma, as we've seen, also performing pretty well. Lukanga trying to one-to it with Bothheim, but we've got Christiansen as well into the box. Let's try and hit this, and we can't even get the shot away. Just good defending. Gigovic gets it out to Kalati. Good save from Leno. Poraf, the pressure is on us now. It seems like it's non-stop. Holstein Kiel attacks. Katic with a great block. And finally, we get on the ball. Gigovic dodges one and then a second Lukanga tackle. Gets it to Makino and he's round the defence. If he gets the shot right, if he didn't, that could have been a top corner special. We've seen so many of those last year. Puchaz, Kaputska, we've got a man, let's put it across. Oh, it was the wrong decision. Eras there, making no error. Porath dances round 2, floated cross into Machino, but thankfully Holstein Kiel's shooting has been really poor so far this season. Yes, love that from Lindelof, what a tackle. Botheim trying to be creative, plays it through, but our attacking midfielder's miles offside, and that is actually going to be the end of the match, and also, surprisingly short, the end of this episode. Yes, there was only 2 games and the transfer window really to do in July and August. So yeah, that is going to be all that we have for today's episode. But next episode, we have a potentially really special time. Not only are we playing against Leverkusen, and we've seen their team, they spent 200 million on Pau Kabasi and Rudiger as well. But we have deadline day, we have that game, we have 2 matches against Borussia Dortmund, and also some other good teams in there, of course, like Mönchengladbach and FC Union Berlin. So hopefully you subscribe so you don't miss out on that, and we can have fun playing against some huge teams in the Bundesliga. But thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Cheers and goodbye.